Thanks for listening to the AZ12 podcast. I am your host, Mike Luke. Sorry, I've been slapping Joseph around all morning. Bad morning for Joseph. All right. Little Caesars, though, that can take a little bit of the edge off of what Joseph's probably feeling right now. So here's the deal. Get 15 off 20, 15% off any $20 or more purchase. Code LCFREECC, free crazy combo with any pizza purchase. All right, now, joined by Jason Shear, I'm Mike Luke. We have the best kicker in U of A history joining the show. Now, if you were to listen to Joseph, who has been really stupid this morning, he's not very good. It doesn't matter that he is that he was the Luke Rosa Award winner, that he was a third-round pick. Just not a good look. Just not a good look, Joseph, and we'll get to that. But Shear, do you want to talk? What's that?
You just got to it.
All right. The other thing, though, that was much bad, Big Ten Jen. We never ignore you, Big Ten Jen. I had Little Caesars last week and you used the code. It was great. Thanks, Mike. Okay, now the other one, too, Joseph also believes Joseph also believes that when he looks at the best point guards in school history, you know, most people say, maybe it's Jason Terry and Mike Bibby or Damon Stoudemire and Mike Bibby, whatever the case may be. Joseph takes an outside the box approach, and he says that, Salim Stoudemire, who didn't play point guard at the U of A, was the best point guard. I also believe Derek Williams was the best point guard.
That's like saying Derek Williams was a 2 because he shot,
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
weird. It's weird.
This is not.
I don't think Salim would say that Salim was a point guard.
Nobody would say he was a point guard because he wasn't a point guard. But this is that Gen Z stuff, man, that we keep coming back to. They don't know. They don't care. They just want something easy. All right. So either way, Joseph, be better, please. Okay. Now, we're going to talk Arizona football. We're going to talk a little Arizona basketball as well. Shear, we have practice today?
Tonight.
All right, tonight, yeah. All right, I want to talk more about Kedrick Reesano here because I'm glad that you've come around on Kedrick Reesano. You thought that for the longest time that it would be Ishmael Mahdi. You weren't really sure, what Reesano can do, all of that stuff. What has made you sold on Reesano? Because you did a big 180. You turned that Cadillac around yesterday.
I said I wasn't sure that Reesano was guaranteed to start. Zoe told me he's starting, so he would probably know. Alonzo Carter would probably know who started. What are you eating?
Oatmeal, healthy.
Wow.
I had a rough morning, man. Go ahead.
But yeah, I think they're all gonna get carries. Zoe told me something interesting. He doesn't chart carries; he charts snaps. So in other words, the whole carries argument, basically he was telling me if Reesano gets 15 carries and plays 30 plays and Quincy Craig is in there 20 plays but doesn't necessarily get as many carries. He tracks snaps more than he does actual touches.
Yeah. Okay. But Reesano, I believe Reesano can be an MNFL back. I really do. I think when you look at him, he looks different. This is what I'm going to do? What's that? Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to go with a list sometime of players the name should be, why are you here? And it's going to be players that don't look like they belong here.
Come on.
I don't get. Oh, by the way, we got Brennan coming on at 1:00 on Monday. Plan accordingly, Shear.
1:00 on Monday. How's that possible?
I won't
be able to plan it. I won't be able to plan accordingly.
Why?
Because we have practice, and that's after practice, and then we have media.
Well, Brennan's coming on. That is media. You should make an exception for that.
He's probably just going to jump in right after practice.
No, I know. You should actually you should plan accordingly on this one. You'll get a lot of good content. But either way, Brennan is confirmed for he is confirmed. Yeah. All right, do it. Everybody will understand. Sheer, trust me. Everybody will understand. Okay, now we'll figure it out. Jason. Yes, we'll figure it out. Okay, now so Reesano looks different. Now the patchwork offensive line. That we're going to just keep basically talking about that. Daniel S. Royal Payne 916 says the same thing. How does that patchwork offensive line look? Here's where I'm at with the offensive line. To me, it's a lot like it was last year when it comes to it's a lot like it was last year when it comes to we'll know it when we see it. We'll know it when we see it.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, it's just I can tell you what it looks like now. They're not even playing in pads, so what it looks like now is kind of irrelevant. There's no actual contact.
Yeah.
We'll
Now,
know more later on in camp.
all right, I give myself a little bit of credit. The Luis Akba guy was exactly who I thought he was. Because when I said his dimensions, I said he's like a 6'7", 260-pound guy. And then I looked him up yesterday. That's exactly who I thought it was. Yeah, so nice try.
6'7".
He's like 6'7" or something, or 6'6".
Yeah.
Either way, I was all right. Now Andy Bryant says Chuba's going to fill the entire offensive line. We had a Chuba's good. Chuba's everything's good with Chuba though, right? Good in the hood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah. No. Okay. So there's obviously that. Now the tight end position. I wanted to go back to that a little bit more. I had somebody message me to watch the show yesterday, and he's like, "Man, I'm just telling you, Tyler Powell, good. Tyler Powell, people will like him." And I said, "Is this like Sam Olsen? Sam Olsen, good. Sam Olsen, people will like him." And then he responded back and he said, "No, he's actually really good." So Tyler Powell at tight end is the thing, Skier.
I know. I told you that.
Yeah. Well,
Yes. Tyler Powell is indeed a thing. He looks great. He's huge. He's by far the biggest tight end that they have on the roster. Not even close. He's probably the best blocker. He can do things the others can't, and he's going to play.
Right. Just 3 comments in a row on how the team will suck. Nobody ever said that. Okay, now Nick Arenas says, the great Nick Arenas says, Shearer, I had a question. Is Gio Richardson over Patterson? No!
I don't think so. I'll look today, but no, I don't believe so.
You know what's interesting? Everybody's really looking at the Jeremiah Patterson situation. There's something that a lot of people are forgetting about Jeremiah Patterson Shearer and about what his overall impact can be. He's got multiple years left.
Not at Arizona.
Oh, that is a cheap shot, Shearer. I do not like that. That is a cheap shot. Okay. That is a cheap shot. All right.
No, not Arizona because he's going to the NFL.
What's that? Oh, yeah. No, I
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
not in Arizona because he's going to the MNFL after this.
He's going to the MNFL, and yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, I'm just merely playing checkers. You're playing chess over here. Shearer running that chessboard. I like it. All right, fair enough. Now, I want to talk about the kicking situation because I have a gripe with some of the old heads, as Joseph was calling me an old head today because I knew what position Salim Stoudemire played in college. That's bad, man. Joseph, like I said, today was really bad for you. I don't know how else to put it.
By the way, I love Tyler Loop. No one is a bigger Tyler Loop fan than I am, right? Tyler Loop in his career missed 3 times the amount of field goals as McLaughlin.
Yeah, I'm just saying
he missed 5 field goals over a 4-year career. Like, come on.
Yeah, come on. Yes, exactly. And then he says something too where he's like, oh, well, yeah, it's all right. Well, Max and Dehas is right there. I'm fine. If you want to go Max and Dehas, fine. But I'm still scarred by the Alex and Dehas era. So I hold some of that on Max because that is his DNA. Well, it's his uncle, but it's still his DNA. Hey, you have the same DNA. Do you have the same DNA as your uncle?
Yeah, it's his fault.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Connor McGrath says, I want to get some ad reads in here. Okay, let's get in there. All right, let's get some ad reads in here. Sorry, Connor. Yeah, sorry. All right, Ben one pipe. Back the pipe, baby. Back the pipe. Foster Plumbing Incorporated. All right, now, Shearer, here's the deal. Have you ever sat on your toilet and said, man, you know what? This toilet, it's an 8 to 5 situation here, you know. And as long as it doesn't clog after 8, I'm fine. That's not how this works with Foster Plumbing because they are 24/7 service, Shearer. They are here to service you, my friend. Now, Connor, this is for you. Now you should go in there. Now, if you're in the flight, you would also say you should go in there and you should say, hey, listen, I got to use this. And if I clog, can you clog an airplane toilet?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Well, I don't know if you can clog an airplane toilet or not because like there's no like where does it go? Doesn't it just go out into like the sphere or whatever? Either way, you should go in there and say, listen, I need to have Foster Plumbing on this flight because this thing could also go really, really bad. Foster Plumbing 24/7. I don't know if they deliver on site, you know, in air repair, but I also don't know that they don't. It's like when in like an executive decision, like when they like attach Steven Seagal and Kurt Russell to that plane or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? I guess Shearer doesn't know what I'm talking about. But that's
I went out.
yeah. No,
I do know what you're talking about. I do.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Executive decision. You know when they're like flying under that plane, and then they like attach him at the bottom of like the butt of the plane, and then they get like Steven Seagal and Kurt Russell in or something, and like. But either way, I don't know if they can do that, but we will check it out. So. All right, yes. And again, the guy won the Lou Groza Award, dummies. This isn't difficult.
I think Joseph's point is, I was talking extra points. At the end of the day, McLaughlin only hit 60. That year he won the All-American, he was 80%.
Well, right, but I'm saying it was a different era that back then, man. It just was. He was the best kicker in the country, and he's a third-round pick. Again, it is what it is, man. Okay, now, all right, so I don't know that kickers are that much better. I think that a lot of them are weenies now. So now what else? Aris Dental. Yeah, this is for you, Connor. Aris Dental championship package. Steve McLaughlin. Guess what? When it was time for the awards, Steve McLaughlin. When did the goalposts narrow? That's an interesting point. When did the goalposts narrow, my friends? All right, but Steve McLaughlin. You watch him, you think of the championship package because again, he won. He was the champion.
By the way. 1991.
What's that?
91 is when they narrowed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was the you think of this, you think of Steve McLaughlin, you think of the championship package, but you also think the championship package because asked about the 1997. It's 1997. Check it out. Offers only necessary treatment. This woman right here is excited. She knows the championship package is en route and it's only $1997. It's not $8,000. She doesn't have to go to Bolivia or Uganda or something like that to find it. She can go there, and that is why she is so excited. This stock photo is amazing, by the way. Check it out. Aris Dental, TucsonTeeth.com. Sheer, what are you doing? Picking earwax out of your ear?
No, I'm bleeding.
You're bleeding? Sheer, I don't see you anywhere.
It's because I'm bleeding out. The dog.
I don't see anywhere. Yeah. I don't know where you are. Yeah. All right. 4 locations for routine Arizona Primary Eye Care. Check it out. 60+ insurances. Proud partner of Arizona Athletics. Optical options to fit all budget styles and preferences. Perfect place to glow up. August promo. Free LaFont frames with purchase of lenses. LaFont. Yeah. LaFont. Where's that guy in Beauty and the Beast? That French guy? Like,
Gaston?
Yeah, Gaston or whatever his name is. Gaston. Yeah, Gaston. That sounds like he's passing a kidney stone.
Your mom just yelled. Was that your mom yelling at you?
Yeah. She said Gaston. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Gaston. He's awesome. So I don't know that he's awesome. Kill the beast. So check it out though. Get these things in there. Free LaFont frame with purchase of lenses. Okay. Yeah, you will thank me later. All right, now. Joseph is also being an idiot right here. He thinks Babe Ruth is a better hitter than Barry Bonds. No, dude, we're talking about things that happened in the 90s, not in the 1915s. Back when, listen, I don't ever, when somebody's telling me about some guy like Babe Ruth or one of those guys, if you didn't play against black people or minorities, I don't hold you in the same category because you didn't play against the best. It just is what it is. Steve McLaughlin, 1994. Boom. That is not that old, dummy. All right. So anyway, check it out. Yeah. I'm very upset with Joseph this morning. Okay. Now, by the way, Kobe Thiel was trying to back Joseph earlier today by saying I mispronounced names. That's not the same thing as not knowing what position Salim Stoudemire played at the U of A. Would you agree?
I asked Aurora also doesn't know who Marlon Brando is. That was so upsetting last night.
Oh, yeah. No, that really was. And he didn't know who Richard Pryor was.
Yeah, very upsetting.
All right. Well, either way, yeah, Joseph. Yeah. All right. So Joseph sucks. All right. Yeah. Now we're gonna ask Steve. We're gonna ask Steve McLaughlin.
Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph. Yeah. We're gonna ask. Steve McLaughlin what he thinks about Joseph. Yeah. All right. So there's that. Okay. Now let's get back to some Arizona football because that's what we want to do. Okay. Oh, we got a lot of. Their ASU football boards are going crazy with me right now. They think that the breaking the quarterbacks thing is real, and then this guy I think was
what do you mean? It is real.
Well, it is real, but he said, yeah, this guy's an idiot. He said, look at Sam Levitt's numbers after Arizona. Can you believe that? And I'm like, man, you guys are real dummies. All right. Either way, let's get back to some Arizona.
You want to make fun of ASU?
What's that?
Do you want to make fun of ASU?
Yeah, I want to make fun of ASU. Let's make fun of ASU.
I can give you something I heard from someone today. I don't know if it's being reported yet.
Yeah. What do you got?
You know how they landed that center from Word of God, and you were wondering why he was going to ASU?
Yeah.
Dude. Well, he's going to ASU because he's academically ineligible.
That makes sense. Yes. I remember looking at him. I'm like, why is this guy going here?
I don't think I heard that there's a good chance he doesn't enroll. Like, he can't get in.
All right. Well, hey, is ASU going to be the worst team in the Big 12 this year in basketball?
It's going to be close. That's why they took another random Serbian guy yesterday.
Yeah. You also know when you get, and this is what Illinois does, and this is why they stink. When you get like the Serbians that are that are like 29 years old or whatever, you're like, all right, well, that guy, he's not good, and if he's going to ASU, he's not good, and if he's going to Illinois, he's most likely not good either. So, yes. Imagine not being able to get into ASU. That's not a good look. All right, ASU now. Dilly not happy yesterday, by the way.
He wasn't. I saw that.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, those
always happy.
Those walls are crumbling down right now. What was it? And the walls came tumbling down like Jericho, like Dan. Oh, this is your stuff. This is Old Testament. Mom, what was that? And the walls came tumbling down. Was that the Jericho? Yeah, Jericho. Daniel in the lion's den.
Whoa, I thought it was Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty? No, it wasn't Humpty Dumpty.
That was him. Then,
Yeah. There was a kid that looked like Humpty Dumpty in high school, and we called him Humpty. He wasn't a cool kid. He didn't get to hang out with me. All right, so defensively, I want
you're the bully, basically.
Yeah, Big Mike the bully. All right, so I got to ask you something here. We like Danny Gonzalez a great deal on this show. Danny Gonzalez is the man.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
Do you believe that Danny Gonzalez believes what he's saying?
I think Danny Gonzalez, he pretty much hinted at why he's like this, and it's basically, if I don't believe, why would the players? So I think it's type of deal like, look, this is our goal. We're going to reach for the stars, and if we don't make it, so be it. But if I don't believe, why are my players going to believe? So I think that's kind of the attitude he's taking.
Well, that's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
Well, I think that he believes that they're going to run the table and make the CFP semifinals, which is the only way to get to a Rose Bowl. No, I don't.
All right. By the way, OC Bodybuilders just gave my mom a big compliment. Mike's parents are so smart. You wonder where it went sideways.
He makes a good point.
Thanks.
Thanks.
True. And I like OC Bodybuilders too. That was a cheap shot.
That's not a bad point, though.
Hey, by the way, OC Bodybuilders, I'm not that far from OC. I can come find you.
Meet me in Temecula.
Yeah, meet me in Temecula, baby. Yeah. Hey, meet me at Barstow at that Del Taco, the original one. High noon, baby. All right. So now let's talk a little bit then about. I like what he said about Genesis Smith. I do believe that the Genesis Smith stuff.
Brett just texted us. us.
Oh, this is great.
I'll read it.
Read it. Take this, Kobe.
I just watched yesterday's show. Tell Kobe I'm certainly not unblocking someone who doesn't know who Marlon Brando is.
Oh, gosh. Yes. And or Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I told you this. At this point, he's not going to unblock Kobe because it's just funny.
This is awesome at this point. I can't wait to talk to Brett in person about this. We like Brett a great deal. I also want to give Brett we're talking about this now. I also want to give
Kobe's about to dial him. Kobe's about to crash out.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yes. But Brett Gleason, awesome. Like I said, the one thing about it too with this like I said, I have no clue if they're going to win 2 games or 1 game or if they're going to run the table. But they've done, I got to give them credit, Skier. They've done everything they needed to do. And a big reason, hey, you want to know a big thing they've done this year that they did? They brought in Brett Gleason. That is a massive, we like Brett Gleason.
We do. You look, again, you said it, like, there's things that I don't know if they'll lead to wins, but there's things they had to fix.
That was amazing text, yes.
There's things they had to fix, right? Like you had to make it more available. You had to let the media ask certain questions. There's certain things that you had to do. You had to go out in the community more and publicize when you went out in the community. They had a fantastic offseason.
They really did.
Now, and I don't know, again, people are going to forget about it real quick now that practice is starting and the game's in 3 weeks or whatever, but in terms of an offseason, they couldn't really have done much better for a team that, frankly, didn't win many games last season.
Oh, by the way, another reason I like Brett Gleason because he likes South Lake Tahoe. He was there like a week before I got there, and he was in Emerald Bay with the lovely lady. And so, yeah, Emerald Bay is awesome. All right, now, the other thing, too, here's where I'm at. And I get people all the time that'll message me, and they're like, Mike, you've gone soft on Brennan. well, I don't know. That sounds terrible. But that's all right.
You never have that problem. You don't go soft with anyone.
No. What I'm saying is this. Is that, yes, I was not at all impressed last year, but I give people a lot of credit for if they listen and they do things differently. I believe, and again, as a native Tucsonan, I believe that you have to engage this community. I just believe it. I'll always believe that. Again, you got to win games. I get all that, but I believe you have to engage the community. And the thing about it with Brent Brennan is this. I understand if you got some like stooge in there that's like, picking his nose and you don't want to have him around people because you're like, oh crap, that guy, we have put him back in the side room. I understand all that. But Brent Brennan is a good dude. Brent Brennan is a likable guy. When you watch Brent Brennan for 5 minutes, you understand why he is so well thought of. I am glad they did it, Sheer. I'm glad. I don't care what, but I got to give them a lot of credit. I'm glad they did it.
Well, that's the thing. Like I've said this before, you should be rooting for Brent Brennan.
Of course you should.
He's not a jerk. He's not Kevin Sumlin. He's not Jed who's looking for the next job as soon as he's successful. Brent Brennan wants to win at Arizona. Yes. Like he really, and I know it's corny and I get in this day and age, it's hard to say, but Brent Brennan wants to be at Arizona. Like this is where, like, his wife went here, his brother played here. Like this isn't just a pit stop. You should want Brent Brennan to be successful here at Arizona.
And we have always said we have always said this, and I'm going to say this again. We, at the end of the Kevin Sumlin era, we rooted against Arizona. Now, again, we didn't put it out there publicly, but now we are. Nobody's watching, so it doesn't matter. But
we were like, I've never rooted against Arizona. Mike and I were absolutely like the greater good type of deal.
Yeah, when it was ASU and we were down 14-0 less than 4 seconds into the game, it was like, just keep it going, man, keep it going. Because Kevin Sumlin didn't want to.
It's like, just end the misery, just get this over with.
Yeah, just get it over with. Brennan wants to be here. He's not a clown show. So again, root for him. There's really no reason not to root for him. All right, let's get some reads in here, though. Yeah. Back the reads, baby. All right, now, listen, we just endorsed getting behind Brent Brennan for another year. One thing we won't endorse, though, is Andre Veras.
Nope.
With Longview. Not going to do it. Not on my watch. Not on your watch. Not on anybody's watch. Did you recently just change jobs, Sheer? Actually, no. You've been doing the same thing for like 38 years.
Yep.
Oh, happy 30th birthday coming up, by the way.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah. Sheer, the most pristine-looking 30-year-old you've ever seen. All right. Now, it's hard. Now, do you have a young family? Sheer, you have a young family. But that doesn't mean you're going to endorse Andre Veras.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Give Andre, Steve McLaughlin. It's funny. Steve McLaughlin, Saguaro great, Cougar great. I see in the background he's watching this and he's like, what the heck are these things going on right here? All right. Do you feel like you're doing okay, but you're not confident in the right track? Check it out. Longview. You'll thank us later. You will thank us later. All right. What else we got? Baggins. All right, now look at all this food right here, this tasty food. This is very, very good. Brett Gleason, you should go get some Baggins today. Use code AZ12 for 15% off. And it also helps my ego because it has my name on the receipt then. I feel a lot better about it then. 12 Arizona locations, owned locally and operated. Join our VIP text club. Text Baggins to 877-797-0444 for special deals. Check it out. Every sandwich comes with a chocolate chip cookie. Use code AZ12 for 15% off. All right. You'll thank me later on that. Get the Baggins. Back the bag, baby. Let's see. Dennis Walsh, get there. All right. You know what? Let's bring on now, and sure, we'll go back and forth on here. The greatest kicker in U of A history. I said it. I remember when you were a wee lad, even though you're older than me, that Miami kick, and then how you went from there and you became the Lou Groza Award winner. Saguaro's finest, Steve McLaughlin. Hello, Steve McLaughlin.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Depending on where you are, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, so afternoon here, but morning out there. And you're too kind. Yes, I was watching the ads. I probably need to call Andre because I checked every one of those boxes. And Baggins, glad to see they're still there. I enjoyed them constantly at my time at the University of Arizona. I was at Baggins all the time. So great to see that business still up and running. And, you start the bar high there saying greatest. I don't know about that. We can talk about that. I'm happy to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I got to thank Cody James Martin for getting you. All right, first thing how much did going to Saguaro High School, how much did that forge who you were as far as becoming the Lou Groza Award winner? I think it had to have meant a lot, Steve.
That was everything. Coach Howard Brining put emphasis on kicking. John Howard was a specialized kicking coach that was working with us at the time. Jeff Black was there. And my brother and I would go up there every single day and pretend that we were Max and DeHaas. So Saguaro being in Arizona really translated to being a Wildcat. My brother and I sold concessions at the U of A in our teenage years. And I didn't sell a lot of drinks or popcorn, but I stood there and I watched Max and DeHaas kick field goals, Brett Hawley punt, Ruben Rodriguez punt, and it made us go up to Saguaro and want to kick field goals, which Sean and I did every day. He'll tell you he taught me everything he knows, which is probably true. He kicked up at Northern Arizona University. And then I wanted to be a Wildcat from then on.
Hey, you want to know a funny story about Jeff Black? I know Jeff Black. Well, I don't know Jeff Black. My dad did. My dad taught him, I believe it's Steele Elementary, or I don't know where he taught him. But he told Jeff Black, I guess, that one day during PE or something, he's like, yeah, you should become a kicker. They get all the glory and you don't have to worry about all this stuff. And then I think you don't get hurt. And I think he broke his leg twice or something like that. So
yeah, unfortunately his senior year, and he probably would have went to the U of A, but he had hurt himself. And so it was unfortunate. But he went on to NAU as well and had a successful career, but Jeff was a great guy and he taught me a ton too in high school.
All right. Now I got a question. Sure. Go ahead. You go ahead. Sure.
When did you know, like, how does that process work? Where you're like, you know what, I'm going to become a kicker. Cause like everyone, like there's guys that grow up and like, I want to be a quarterback. I want to do this, but like, you have to know like, okay, I'm going to be a kicker and I'm pretty damn good at this. When did that happen?
Well, and I know you're looking at my physique and wonder why didn't I become a linebacker and no one would have ever
the atomic javelina.
Rob Waldrop. Records, a little shout out. My buddy has his record label. But anyway, it was, I just think that it a little bit by default, but also because I enjoyed it. I played wide receiver in high school as well. I could catch, but I wasn't super fast. And I was kicking the ball and that was going well. And I started receiving interest. I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy, be a pilot. And I was doing well with the kicking to where I was attracting attention from universities. And so I had to give that a look. And I just enjoyed it so much. And it came from playing soccer. I think that started it. And it was a transition from there into field goal kicking. And for better or for worse, I took that path.
Now, let me ask you this. And this bothers me a great deal, Steve, because I remember watching you. I hate the old guard that are always like, all right, well, kicking doesn't matter. I want to give that to like a fifth string safety that's never going to see the field. That is such garbage because, again, I have seen kickers decide a lot more games than I have seen the fifth string safety. And I'm glad that we are getting out of that. And quite frankly, Steve, sometimes they have two kickers. And by the way, a friend of mine who played with you, do you remember a guy named Mike Braven at Saguaro?
I do. I remember
Mike Braven. Mike Braven says hi. His wife basically owns Baggins. So he says hi, by the way.
Mike's great. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But are you glad that we were out of that prehistoric Neanderthal view that basically kicking doesn't matter and that we got to give it to like some guy that'll never play? Be honest.
I'm not sure. Have you seen the curb where they have the frogs, where Larry David says we just have frogs decide the game by kicking? I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes,
clip
I have
or not.
seen
I don't know that it's totally gone. The first part though about the mentality, you're correct. It's at every level. I heard an NFL coach say once, we were on the bus and he said, yeah, with the kickers, I mean, it's important, but it's only maybe, 1 or 2 games. And I'm thinking only 1 or 2 games. That's the difference between 5-7 and 7-5. That could be the playoffs. You just said that they will decide a couple of games. And Coach Tomey put that emphasis on the kicking game, not just the kicker, but all of special teams, because special teams does win games. And I catch a lot of flack. In fact, I had a text message yesterday from a buddy that said, can't believe the kicker is going on when you're one play versus the rest of the team. And I said, to decide the game, I said, well, I wouldn't have to go on and decide the game. If you guys get the ball in the end zone, so you should be thankful that at least you have one last chance to the kicker to make it. So, yes, there is value there. And I think that it's one of those debated topics. I mean, the kickoff has been taken out of the game in the NFL. They might as well just place the ball in the 20 at this point. And it goes more and more down that road. They try to do some things, move the extra point back, but it's maybe better than it was, but it's not completely gone, I guess.
All right, sure.
Right now, Tyler Loop is gone. There's a wide open kicking competition. What do you think it's like for these guys mentally, every day kind of kicking and knowing one bad kick and, change the outcome of the competition?
Yeah, it's an exciting time for those guys that are there. One of my best friends, John Pursoon, who played at U of A, kicked after me for 1 year. He had a 57-yarder at the school, and he, when we're talking about kickers, he just had 1 year to do it. Unfortunately, he just had that 1 year of eligibility. His son, I think, is in the mix. Tyler Loop is there. There's some other guys that are really competing that it's wide open. It's wide open. And that's one of the things that attracted me to Arizona also. It's tough when they only have one position open.
Right.
In the NFL and the professional leagues, they only keep one kicker on the roster, which makes it even more difficult. But still, if you're at the college level, they're probably only going to play one guy unless they have a specialist. And so that's one of the things that you look for is who needs a kicker. And so that opportunity exists right now, as you mentioned, with Tyler being in Baltimore. It's a great opportunity for them, and every kick matters. Absolutely. They're charting. They have an individual period where they're charting, and then they have the team field goal where they're charting. And obviously the team is more important with the situations and everything, but I'm sure they're putting them through it right now.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about that and how that goes. Miami, early 90s, you missed the kick to win the game, and then you recover from that and go on to become. How did that all happen? I heard the story about how Brandon Sanders basically said, we got a man down here, and this, and just talk a little bit about how that, that mindset, because a lot of kickers don't recover from something like that. Not only did you recover, you went on to have a glorious career, become third-round pick. How did you do that?
Well, again, the word glorious, you're throwing in these great, I got to, hit the like button several times.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate, as I look at my watch, which I'm not wearing, it was 5 minutes before the Miami kick came up. It's usually the first question. So I appreciate that we kind of forward into it. No, I own that 100%. That was a difficult time. Arguably the biggest kick in Arizona history in terms, you could look at some of Max and Dejas's kicks, which he made those. And so they were Notre Dame, USC, but that Miami game. And I think the fact that kick was so close to going in, I mean, that made it more difficult than if it was blocked or shanked or something like that. Shout out to Rich Ellerson. Rich Ellerson is my favorite coach of all time. We all love Dick Tomey. We go on and on, have several podcasts. We all know Coach Tomey. Rich Ellerson, who created the flex defense, the Desert Swarm, he was our special teams coach as well. He is the one who came in and really, really straightened me out and helped me. I went with Gary Zahner too in San Diego. He's a kicking coach, but it comes back a little bit to Coach Tomey that he had a philosophy: either you believe in a guy or you don't. Because we talked about it at one point, and he told me, because he could have made the change, and I asked him about it later on. I think when we were doing at the Groza award ceremony in Florida my senior year, he was out there, and he said, that one kick I didn't feel defined you, and I was going to see how you came back from it. And to your point, we played UCLA, I think, the next week, and I was 3 for 3 with a 51-yarder. And so he said, okay, I believe in this guy. We can stay with him. Had I tanked it after that, it's a business. We're all big people, and we would have had to move on from there. And that's just the way that life is. So ironically, too, that miss made me look at my steps, the way that I was approaching the ball. I needed to be more accurate because I wasn't super accurate that year either. And so I refined my approach, my steps to be more accurate. And I may not have done that had I made that kick. I just would have thought, oh yeah, I've arrived or whatever, you fall into those traps. You know what I mean? Right. And I would have just kind of gone through the next 2 years with average. But I feel like that sort of turned me around. And thankfully I had people around me that supported me to do that and not to go down the other road of saying, oh, geez, I can't do this. Because that's certainly a time when he could have done it. But yeah, the team was super supportive. The coaches were, at least to my face. It was before social media, thank God. If I had an Instagram account, or Facebook, I may have had to like close the laptop, but no, on the surface, everything was supportive, and yeah, I actually made some adjustments to my technique, and yeah.
Well, we'll go down a little bit memory lane more in a little bit. But I got a question here for you, and then Sheer, you got a question. Did you know going into the Fiesta Bowl, you guys were going to beat the crap out of Miami and Ray Lewis and Warren Sapp and all them? Because Anthony Cimino, I don't know if you remember that putz.
I love Anthony. He was a big supporter of my band too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your band. He messaged me earlier today. But Cimino said, he's like, we were going to that game, and I said, that Miami team doesn't know what's about to hit them. He said they have no clue. It's Miami, and Chuck Levy is still running down the middle of the field.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. That game, and when we beat number 1 Washington in '92, on the bus going to that stadium for both of those games, I've never been in an atmosphere with more confidence, not cockiness, just a quiet confidence where we're all dialed in. We're all dialed in. I remember on that in the pregame, Coach told me telling the team where he's usually saying, "Oh yeah," where he just said, "I can't wait to watch you guys play today." He knew we were ready. He had prepared us. We were prepared. I mean, every person on that team could not wait to get out there and have another shot at them. And I think that when we drew them, everyone was just ecstatic, and everyone was just focused. Nothing else in the world mattered except for that game. And to your point, it showed when we went out there. So yeah.
Sure.
Just one more for me, because I got to head out to a presser. But how important or cool is it that, Brennan's hired and he mentions Dick Tomey right away, and this coaching staff has ties to him? As someone in your position, what are your thoughts on just seeing just his presence still around the program?
Yeah, well, he's connected. He cares about the program. You want someone who is familiar with the program. He certainly is. If you look back at everyone he's worked with, he has those connections. And I think all that helps. I think that it creates a camaraderie and helps the team buy in. Like, the guys got to buy in. We see coaches go out there. They can be the best coaches in the world, but if the team's not on the same page, if the team doesn't believe in what the leader's doing, and so I think that helps in that venture. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen this year. It's just first year last year, so still in the beginning here. But hope we can build on last year and start heading in that direction again.
All right, Sheer, you're dismissed. I'm going to keep nerding out with Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheer. Right. Appreciate it. Love your show, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see you. All right, hey. All right, so let me ask you this. By the end of the year in '94, you guys were the best team in the country, correct?
Yes, the Sports Illustrated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
yeah,
it's how many years? 50 years ago now.
Yeah. Oh, don't date yourself like that. People don't understand.
I have 3 kids, so my brain is just to start school on Monday. So I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you're on. Yes. Yep. 94, we were number one in the country. Correct.
Yeah. So you look at it though, when you look at that team though, like beat Miami, you just look at it across the board though, especially on the defensive side of the football. When you got guys like Rob Waldrop, who is still criminally underrated here because he was probably the best player on that team. He was literally immovable. You had Teddy Bruschi. I mean, you had Sean Harris up the middle. You had a million different guys. You had your safeties. You had Tony Bowie. You had Brandon Sanders. On the offensive side, it was basically preserve the right to punt type situation. But, they could score at times as well. People don't understand how good that defense was. I still don't believe to this day they properly appreciate it.
Agree. I'm going to mention Rich Ellerson's name again. Right. Larry McDuff, of course, is our defensive coordinator. Larry's great. What we were doing was just something revolutionary.
Yeah. We
also, if you remember, a little side to this, the rugby punt, Rich Ellerson did that as well. And Coach Tomey joked and said, "Hey, we're going to revolutionize the game." We were doing against Stanford. We were playing Stanford, and they wanted to try to do this other type of punt. And it was new to me, new to everybody. Now everyone does it. Everybody does a rugby punt. It's a fast game, moving game where people are able to make adjustments, and they've since adjusted to those defenses, and it's a cat and mouse game. But as you mentioned, at that time, it was something that no one had ever seen, and they didn't know what to do. And then you couple that with the roster that you just mentioned of players that were back there, you just look around and yes, we were stacked. And if we just could have got the ball over the 50-yard line my senior year, we're in the Rose Bowl to try to up there in Eugene or Corvallis, Eugene. And but neither here nor there. But we still had an incredible team. It was a special time, great group of guys, and I don't remember there being a weak link on the team.
Was Richard Dice the craziest person you ever played with?
Dice was pretty crazy. Yeah,
I've never seen, even to this day, when I tell people the guy blows out his knee and most people would be getting ready for the NFL draft or whatever. I'm done with this. And he's just it's more important for him to be able to get back to the ASU game and then basically destroy his knee after that. It was a tougher era there, Steve.
Yeah. And again, I'm considered a source here. I'm a kicker. So a lot of my friends throwing stuff at the screen.
Lou Groza, award-winning kicker. Do not just say kicker, Steve McLaughlin.
But the pain that they tolerate, those guys tolerate. I'm taking myself out of it as a kicker. But Richard Dice, Rob Waldrop, talking about all these different guys that are just getting beat up every single day. The amount of pain that they're able to take and come back. Joe Lohmeyer went through 19 surgeries. We used to joke about him getting struck by lightning and he was back on the field the next week. Is incredible. And most people would probably be in the hospital, let alone trying to play in the game. So, yeah, it was pretty amazing to see these guys come back and just not care about their bodies, so to speak, and just go out there and sacrifice.
They're literally like, I only need this body once. So, who really cares about that one? Yeah. So,
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Steve, we're going to get a couple reads in here, though. But again, I like that, and we're going to get to your music. We're going to get to your musical career here because we've got to talk about
That's okay. We could talk past kickers too. If any of you were talking, Cody was telling me that you guys were talking about. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to do this now. Steve McLaughlin, you look. Hey, does every the Mooney team at Nova Home Loan, Steve? Isn't there only like one street in Atlanta, and it's like Peachtree Avenue? Because every time I get emails, it's always from Peachtree Avenue.
Yeah.
Is this? Do you live on Peachtree Avenue, or are you off on some other street?
We all live on Peachtree. Yep. Yeah. So we never get lost. We're always on the right street.
It's like somebody telling you, "Hey, where are you in Tucson?" "Oh, I'm on Broadway." "Oh, thanks." Yeah. Appreciate the heads up. All right. The Mooney team, though, you might say to yourself, I don't live on Peachtree Avenue. I live in Tucson. And you're like, man, I want to find a house, but I don't know where to get a home loan. The Nova Home Loans team, Nova AZ Loans, Zach Mooney, Senior VIP, Senior Loan Officer, Branch Manager, ready to purchase or refinance your home. Take your shot with the Mooney team. Scan this QR code right here and then call this number, 520-230-5599. You will thank me later. It's going to be very, very good. Check it out. Now, Green Valley Decorative Rock. Hey, you want to hear my Sean Connery impression, Steve McLaughlin?
I do.
Welcome to the Rock. That's good. Yeah. Sean Connery is in The Rock. I can see you impressed by my acting performance.
That was good. Nick Cage in there too.
Yeah. Nick Cage. Stanley Goodspeed was his. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was a good movie. It was a really good bad movie. It's like Con Air. 2 convenient locations: Tucson plus Green Valley, 50+ locally sourced landscaping materials, serving residents and contractors, east to Sierra Vista, Benson, west to Marana, south to Nogales, north to Oracle. And again, they're not just in Green Valley; they are in Tucson. Check them out. You will again thanking me later. I'm doing all this stuff for everybody. Steve, I can only do so much for so many people. My shoulders are only so broad. All right, Green Valley Decorative Rock. All right, let me ask you this. Are kickers better now than they are? Because I have a theory about this. And I know that they can kick further and stuff. Go ahead, though. Period. Go ahead.
100% better.
Okay.
Yes, without a doubt. A quick example, 85% field goal percentage in the 1980s in the NFL. You're in the top 5. 80-something% now, you're in the bottom 5.
Here's my only, I agree with all that. But here's my only thing. I think that in the era where, like, the previous era, I think and maybe I'm just everybody was mentally tough. Like you look at Morton Anderson coming out there, he's like smoking a stogie on the sideline, and then he's coming out and he's like making a 48-yarder. But I still go back to this. When anybody asks me, well, nobody asks me, I'm just giving myself too much credit. But when I ask myself who's the best kicker ever, I'm always going to take Adam Vinatieri, because Vinatieri made 2 Super Bowl winning kicks. It doesn't get any better for me. When you look at it from your Lou Groza eyes, what and you think, who is the standard of kicker for Steve McLaughlin? Who is that standard bearer?
I don't disagree with you. How can you disagree with 2 Super Bowl kicks? And don't forget that kick in the snow against the Colts. I mean,
the Raiders.
It was a 47-yarder,
right?
And he's going out there. I don't disagree with that. So if you're talking, are we talking greatest NFL all time?
Yeah. I go with Vinatieri.
You have to. I think it comes down to the combination of percentage, but also game winners. Yeah, and he's got both.
When you go out for a game-winning kick, what is on your mind though? Because that's the other thing too. People like to give kickers a lot of crap, but most people, including myself, would be wetting their pants if they have to go out there in front of like 5 million people to make a kick. How do you tune all of that stuff out?
Yeah, I think you just, you go out there and you've done it so many times. It just needs to be muscle memory automatic so that no matter what situation you're in, it's the same kick. It's the same. So a lot of the preparation isn't just the physical part of it in the off season. It's what's my mindset when I go out. So you have that mindset during practice so that when you go in the game, it's the same mindset. You can't be thinking about anything else. A lot of guys will put something in their head. They'll go through something because if you don't put something in your mind will put something in there for you. If it's just completely silent. Each guy has a different way of how they approach that, but it just has to be, you can't get caught up in the situation. It's tough though, because you're 100,000 people around you. You have players that are hitting you, come on. And you got a coach screaming and all that stuff. And you have to find a way. And that is really the difference, I think, between the guys who can go out and do it or in a game versus just guys on the practice that can bang them.
What do you think about playing? Matt Payton was an understudy. He punter and then kicker. And then Matt Payton was the first guy that I ever saw at the U of A that punted, kicked field goals, kickoffs, and extra points. They should put that guy's leg next to John Button Salmon as something that is, is basically, it's an icon of the U of A. What was it like playing with your fellow Saguaro grad, Matt Payton?
Matt's a great friend of mine and an incredible talent. And he gave me reason to work harder when I knew he was going to the U of A. It made me work 3 times as hard. I would watch him kick the ball to the end zone at Saguaro, and we'd be working out together. And Cole Ford was another one, but Cole Ford was going to USC, so don't have to worry about Cole. But
he's a Sabino kid. We didn't want him anyways.
Yeah. But Matt was coming up, and I knew how Matt was just an incredible leg and a really good kicker. So it was great having him there. We were roommates my senior year, and he helped me a lot as well.
Who is that? Because I've always told people this. People out there that didn't live U of A sports from 93 to 98. I will put that era with football and basketball against literally any other school in the country. You guys had it going. Obviously, you had a top 10 finish. Then in 98, Arizona had a top 5 finish. In between, by the way, multiple Final Fours, national championship in basketball. You were in an era where you played obviously with, spanning sports. You played with a Rob Walderup, a Teddy Bruschi, guys like that. But then on basketball, you had a Damon Stoudemire, you had a Khalid Reeves. Who was there a big man on campus? Who was the BMOC during that time, or was there one, or was it a commission of BMOCs?
Damon and Khalid were good friends of mine. Two excellent people, and I had a lot of classes with both of them. On the basketball side. Do you remember Tony Clark?
Oh, Tony Clark, absolutely. First baseman, duh.
I ran around with him a bunch his first year. Nice. He had signed with the Detroit Tigers, and he had this Corvette ZR1 from Detroit Tigers, and it had nothing to do with the basketball. So he was cruising around in this ZR1, and he was incredible. And obviously he went on to go baseball and had a great career after that. But yeah, the basketball team, without a doubt, especially in the 90s, they pretty much rule the campus. Right. Football play, sports are all big, but that basketball team, as we all know, what Lute did for that program, it will be remembered forever and launched it. And those guys were the jam.
I was trying to explain to somebody who's in the comments now, but he has disappeared for a second. This guy Joseph. I'm trying to tell him how good Damon Stoudemire was, and he doesn't see it. He's like, I don't know. Can you please tell to the young bucks out there what a phenomenon Damon Stoudemire was, please?
He's phenomenon. And he was incredibly quick, could shoot. No one could guard him. He could guard everybody. And it wasn't just what he did on the court. It's the type of person Damon was. That's, without switching back to Coach told me in football, but putting a team together, Damon was the type of person you want on your team because he's going to bring everyone else up to a higher level. Those are the guys. You can't just look at how fast a guy runs, how much he can lift, what he can do. Is this a guy that you want in your locker room, or do you want him out of your locker room? And Damon was the type of guy that would make locker rooms. So he was a foundational part. But as far as player, the guy proved it with his whole career.
Hey, you want to know something? You want to know a fun fact you can tell all your friends and not give me any credit for? It's a good one. Who is the first player in NBA history 5'10" or under to make $100 million in his NBA career?
Damon Stoudemire.
Yeah, lucky guess, Steve. Lucky guess. You can tell all.
I was going to say Spud Webb, but I
didn't make
dating myself a little bit.
Yeah. Damon was the first one that made $100 million. Might have been Rookie of the Year, all of that stuff. So pretty cool stuff. All right, now,
you mentioned the '90s, if I may, real fast. And about growing up in Tucson and selling cokes, I have this nostalgic affinity for the '80s teams as well. Like watching those Larry Smith years were so much fun. Those teams and those players on those teams, I've been lucky enough to meet them, which has been one of the fun things at some of the events that we've had. And I grew up watching them play. And so, we talk about kickers and you go back and you think of Maxon Dehaas and watching him. And then it sort of bled into Gary Costin. Gary Costin was a freshman All-American, and I was able to talk to him, and he was one of my idols that helped me. And I got to play with him later on. And then Doug Pfaff also.
Doug Pfaff.
I mean, how do you deny Doug Pfaff beating Oklahoma with a 40-yarder? I mean, he helped me tremendously too. I watched him every single weekend of my senior year in high school and would talk to him, and I learned so much from Doug. There's a guy on the team named Rich Fall, was a barefoot kicker, one of the last of the barefoot kickers, like Rich Garless. He was on that team. He only played one game, but he went on to have a successful arena career. But he also was someone who I was lucky enough to be around. And all those guys from the kind of like bridged that gap from the 80s to the 90s as I came in. But the 80s were a special time too in the 90s. And each era has its own. I'm sure the guys would all defend those. But Brandon Sanders, as you mentioned earlier, now is the alumni sort of coordinator, and he is bringing all the alumni together to help support. So a shout out to Brandon for all he's doing to try to get all the alumni together from every decade, and he's really trying to foster that environment.
All right, Steve, let's talk about your musical career a little bit. Let the people out there know what Steve McLaughlin has been doing for a long time.
Well, I appreciate the time. It's good because it'll be a short conversation.
Oh, it's not a short conversation.
It started with a band back in college named Pet the Fish.
Pet the Fish.
And Dave Slutz, who was with the Sidewinders and Sand Ruby's became a fan and really helped foster us a little bit. He ran Club Congress for 20-something years, so he would always help us out. And we played a bunch on campus. And then when I went in the NFL, the band sort of broke up. It was hard to keep it together when I was trying to play in the NFL. But I always kept the studio and recorded and worked with other artists. And that's what I've been doing more than anything. Troy Olson, who is an Arizona product, went to Nashville and became country music star, lack of a better term, as a BMI. And I connected with Troy and worked with him on songwriting. And I released another album in 2010 and did some stuff with that. But I'm still playing and recording music. And I have a music Facebook page, but
where can they find it?
As much, but there's tracks out there. So
yeah. Now let me ask you this. Interesting. All right. Now, have you ever worked with Harvey Mason?
I have not, but I know Harvey's a big time producer.
You should. We got to go. Yeah, we should get a U of A thing going on here. That'd be awesome.
Well, he did that song. Remember Wild About the Cats back in the 80s during the Final Four run.
Well, right. It's actually on the intro of the show too. Exactly.
In fact, my daughter is funny. Brought that up. My daughter, like 2 weeks ago, heard it somewhere, and she was walking to the kitchen, and she just says, "I put it up, and it goes in, boosh." And I'm like, that's that Tom Tolbert line in that song. like, honey, where did you hear that from? And she's like, oh, mommy's playing the Wildcats. I'll be like, oh my God. And I remembered that song, and that was a fun year.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Steve, you are the man. We very much appreciate you having you on. And again, the Saguaro Cougar thing, that goes a long way on this show. A long way, my friend.
Yes. Go Cougars.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can find our way back to the top. It used to just be Amphi back in the day, but now it's a lot more difficult than back in those days. So,
hey, what was it like playing against Mario and Michael? And just like how much different that was than anything else? Because it's like these guys don't belong out here.
Yeah, those were some battles. And that was, remember, Brad Chilcote, Mariani Martin on the Saguaro side.
Yep.
And then having the Bates brothers over there, those Amphi Saguaro battles, Vern Freely. And those guys are another level. And by the way, could not be nicer human beings on the planet. I was lucky enough at Arizona to play with Michael. With the Rams, I kicked off to him at Seattle. He was playing for Seattle at the time. I'm trying to keep it away. But yeah, in high school was another level. They would just hand the ball off to him. If they had any daylight, they were gone. Right. They were gone. Yeah.
Steve, we're going to have to do this again. You're the man. Like I said, grew up watching you. Best kicker in U of A history. Don't at me, as the kids say. Oh, yeah. Only
that's been Dave Haas, Tyler Loop, Faf, somewhere in there. But I appreciate it very much.
Can I get this? Can I get you to say that you're probably on the Mount Rushmore at least? How about that?
I'll leave that for you and others to decide.
All right.
But I appreciate you having me on. And I really love the show. And I listen as much as I can. My brother doesn't miss a show, and appreciate what you're doing and all your support for U of A. It's awesome, especially out here in SEC land. I got to tune in to you to see what's going on. So thank you very much.
Well, keep repping us on Peachtree Avenue, my friend.
I will.
All right. For the great Steve McLaughlin, I am merely Mike Luke. We got Brent Brennan coming up on Monday. Maybe Kenny Dillingham as well. You guys are all the best. We'll be back with you. Also, everybody get to Little Caesars. Code 15 off 20. 15% off any $20 or more purchase. Code LCFREECC. Free crazy combo with any purchase. We'll be back with you on Monday. For Steve McLaughlin, I'm merely Mike Luke. You've been listening to the AZ12 podcast.